She kissed her boss at my birthday party. Now she wants me to forgive her. I caught her in the act. My own wife, right in the middle of our living room, under the warm glow of the lights, surrounded by music, clinking glasses, and people cheering in my honor. It was supposed to be a celebration, my 35th birthday. My friends, my colleagues, my family, everyone I cared about was there. But all of it faded the second I saw her. She was kissing him, her boss. I wasn't imagining it. She wasn't tipsy. She wasn't misled or caught off guard. She stepped into it, deliberately, one hand resting on his chest, the other gliding to his lower back. His arms wrapped around her like they'd done it before. And it wasn't a quick, meaningless kiss either. It was slow, intimate, real. My heart thundered in my chest. Everything else in the room, the music, the laughter, the conversations, melted into background noise. I couldn't breathe, couldn't move. Then she stepped back, grinning slightly, until her eyes met mine. Her smile froze. Her lips parted, maybe to explain or lie, I couldn't tell. But what could she possibly say that would make sense of this? My husband just watched me kiss my boss at his own birthday party. There's no good spin on that. She took a step toward me. Jason, wait, it's not what. I turned my back on her and walked straight out. I didn't wait for an excuse. I couldn't feel my feet hit the floor. I didn't even hear the music anymore. Just my own thoughts unraveling in a blur. 3 years married. 5 together. People used to say we were the couple everyone looked up to. Natalie was the kind of woman who turned heads, smart, graceful, and endlessly thoughtful. She used to say I was her rock. We rarely argued. When we did, it was about regular things, long hours, bills, plans. We were even trying to start a family. Our kitchen had a little board with baby name ideas, soft paint swatches, and crib sketches. We were building a future. She worked a demanding job, climbing the corporate ladder, and I supported that. Late nights were normal. She said it was for a promotion. Her boss, Mark, yeah, that guy, she talked about him like he was her mentor. Said he believed in her potential. Even asked if she could bring him and a few team members to my party to show she could manage work-life balance. I agreed. Why wouldn't I? I trusted her with everything. I handled the entire party, booked the food, drinks, decorations, created a playlist she helped pick. I even scheduled it around her availability so she wouldn't feel rushed. She selected the suit I wore that night. It was supposed to be a celebration for both of us. The night started well. Guests showed up early. Everyone was in good spirits. Natalie stayed close, greeting people, kissing my cheek, introducing me proudly to coworkers. Then Mark walked in, late, smooth, a fake grin plastered across his face and a handshake that felt like wet paper. "Appreciate the invite," he said, flashing his 2 white teeth. I laughed and joked, "Take care of her, she's a gem." I had no idea the man was already stealing her behind my back. Now that I look back, the signs were there, plain as day. She'd grown oddly protective of her phone. When it buzzed late at night, she'd flip it over without reading it. "Just work," she'd say. She stopped coming to our usual Sunday breakfasts. Always exhausted. Always stressed. I'd walk into the room and she'd snap her laptop shut. I'd tease her, "What are you working on, government files?" She'd smile, kiss me, and brush it off. "Don't be ridiculous." I even asked once if she was okay. She got irritated. "Why do you always think the worst?" she snapped. But I wasn't accusing her. I was concerned. Now I know why she got defensive. That kiss, they weren't new to it. She leaned in like she'd done it before. One hand beneath his chin, the other pulling him in. He didn't hesitate. He responded. It lasted only a few seconds, maybe 4, but it was 4 too many. I was across the room near the bar, chatting with a friend. I glanced over, looking for her, and that's when I saw it. She was locked in someone else's arms. No one else around them seemed to notice. People were busy in their own little conversations, drinks in hand. But I saw it all. And she knew I saw it. That moment she pulled away and noticed me standing there. She knew. And the second I left the room, the whispers began. I heard someone mutter, "What just happened?" as I stepped outside, barely able to process the weight of what I'd just seen. My best friend, Derek, followed me out onto the porch. "Jason, man, are you all right?" he asked gently. I couldn't answer. I simply shook my head. Natalie didn't come after me right away. She stayed inside while the world shifted under my feet. It took her nearly 10 minutes before she finally appeared, tears streaking her face. "Jason, please, just wait," she begged, her voice breaking. "It's not what it looked like." I raised a hand to stop her right there. "Don't insult me with lies. I saw it. Every second of it." She dropped to her knees on the front steps, sobbing. "It was stupid. A mistake. It didn't mean anything. And somehow that made it worse. If it meant nothing, then why the hell would you do it at my party?" I asked, voice sharp but cracking. That night, she came home around midnight. I was still in the living room, lights off, staring blankly at the wall. Her makeup had smeared down her face. "Jason, please," she whispered. "Please don't shut me out. I made a mistake. I don't even know why I did it. It just happened." I didn't respond. I had no words left. She reached for my hand, and I pulled away. "You broke something in me," I said quietly. She wept harder and tried to explain. Claimed she had too much to drink. That mark caught her off guard. But her lips didn't stumble into that kiss. They reached for him on their own. Days passed in a heavy silence. We barely spoke. I moved into the guest room. The house felt haunted. Finally, I asked her the question that had been gnawing at me. "Was that the first time?" She hesitated. "Too long." "No," she admitted eventually. "But it was the first time it meant something." I let out a dry, humorless laugh. "So, you'd kissed him before, and still brought him to my birthday?" She said it began after a late night at work. Claimed she felt isolated. Said she never intended for it to go this far. I stared at her. "And you didn't mean for it to happen that night either, huh?" She sobbed harder. But by then, I couldn't feel anything. I was emotionally empty. Barely eating. Barely sleeping. I started going into the office early, just to escape the silence in our home. Some part of me wanted to forgive her. Another part, the louder part, told me she had destroyed something sacred. I kept replaying the scene in my mind. Her kiss, her guilt, her excuses. One night, I pulled out our wedding album, thinking maybe those memories would give me strength. Instead, I felt nauseous. All those smiles. All those promises. Were they ever real? I started blaming myself. Was I not enough? Did I miss something? But I caught myself. No, I didn't break us. She did. I hadn't planned on reaching out, but I did. I emailed Mark. Just one line. "We need to talk. Man to man." He replied the next day. "I don't think that's a good idea." Coward. I called his office. His assistant told me he was on leave. So I sent one last message. "Just so you know, you kissed a married woman at her husband's birthday party. Hope the promotion was worth it." No reply. A week later, Natalie told me Mark had resigned and taken a job somewhere else. Good. Let him run. But me. I was still bleeding. She pleaded with me to see a therapist together. promised to leave her job, cut ties with him, wipe her social media clean. She swore she'd do whatever it took to rebuild what she broke. But trust doesn't come back just because someone promises to check off a list. I looked her in the eyes and said, "You want to fix this, but I don't even know if I want us anymore." She collapsed onto the couch, sobbing uncontrollably. "Please don't throw us away," she whispered. I stared down at her. "You threw it away when you kissed him in front of everyone." I packed a bag and left that night. I needed distance, silence, a chance to think and breathe. Maybe closure, if such a thing even exists. It's been 2 months since then. I'm staying in a small rental now. The apartment's quiet, clean, and empty, kind of like me. Natalie still texts me every day. Says she's going to therapy. Says she hasn't given up. But me? I'm tired. Tired of holding on to something that died the moment I blew out my birthday candles. I wish I could tell you this story ends in redemption or revenge. But it doesn't. It ends with reality. Because sometimes, love alone isn't enough. Sometimes betrayal draws a line that can't be erased. I didn't ask for this lesson, but I've learned it. The hard way. If someone's capable of shattering you in the spotlight, imagine what they're doing in the dark. And now, even as she begs me to take her back, I've stopped listening. What would you do if your partner kissed someone else in front of everyone? Can trust ever truly return? Share your thoughts in the comments. Your voice might help someone else find clarity.